Hello and welcome. You're listening to Start Again with Shaunna Lee, the place where you will be reminded that it's never too late and you're never too old to do the damn thing. So stick around if you're ready to vibe higher and be inspired to chase your dreams. Together, we will uncover your soul's truest desires. Now, if you're ready, let's get started. Hello again. So, listen, I go where I'm led and I'm learning to follow my intuition. And this week, we are going to talk about gratitude. You know, we're told often, we hear this, to focus on the positive side of things. And it seems to teeter between like common sense and also perhaps total bullshit, right? So, depending upon your current state of affairs in your mind, what's going on in your thoughts, it might land in one place or the other. We all kind of get it though. There's this idea that by embracing the positive side of things, we will attract more good things to us. That by simply shifting your focus to the positive good things, there will be more good stuff to notice, right? Like often you can hear people say things like, they'll ask, "Is your glass half full or half empty?" And this is talking to that state of affairs in your mind, right? Are your thoughts mostly positive or negative? Do you see what's missing or do you shift your focus to what is good and what is the blessing in the moment, as some people say? There is value, obviously, that comes from being positive. And that idea is that you'll have more to be grateful for simply by shifting your focus to a glass half full mentality. So, this is why we hear so many people talking, including myself, and telling you to practice gratitude. I've even told people that they should follow and find their inner Pollyanna. Do you remember this Disney movie? It's the one where this little girl is always positive and she is so happy and she can find the best in any single situation, despite the fact that I think she's super sick, or does she end up dying? I'm not entirely certain. It's been 100 years since I've seen this movie. The thing that I remember most about that movie was that her positivity was almost contagious, and the whole town starts picking up on this idea of being positive. This ability to always find the good in any situation is definitely not something that most of us are good at. And I'm telling you that that takes practice because it does not come naturally to us. And quite honestly, it's not easy. When we practice gratitude and we learn to focus on the positive, it actually helps us to fall in love with the life we already have. So, said another way, I saw a quote on Pinterest that said, "The more grateful I am, the more beauty I see." It's all about retraining your brain and shifting your focus. And gratitude helps you to see what is instead of what isn't. And Oprah, you all know I love Oprah. I've seen her quoted saying, "The more you praise and celebrate your life, the more there is in life to celebrate." And Brene Brown says, "I don't have to chase extraordinary moments to find happiness. It's right in front of me if I'm paying attention and practicing gratitude." Oprah also says, "The single greatest thing that you can do to change your life today would be to start being grateful for what you have right now." So, all of these are saying the same thing, that gratitude fosters an environment where good shit grows and flourishes. It's truly the path to happiness, not actually the money we're chasing or the love we're looking for or the next pretty shiny thing that we want. Happiness and joy is rooted in the act of gratitude. So I had a conversation recently where we were discussing this very thing. And I actually admitted that I think easily half of our lives and the things that happen are negative or bad shit happening. The daily frustrations, obstacles to happiness, stress, or contrast, as you might have heard it called. Call it whatever you will, but there is a never ending supply of crap to look at if we choose to. The more positive people that you actually know, if you look at them and observe how they interact with their environment, they have discovered a way to focus on the good, and they are great at finding the silver lining in every situation. They are simply choosing to be grateful for what they already see. But why? Why do people do this? If you know anything about the law of attraction, it says that like energy follows like energy. So, gratitude and appreciation is a certain energy level or a vibration, if you will. So many people believe that if you practice expressing your gratitude, that it puts you in the vibration to attract more good stuff by merely vibing with it. So I've tested this theory out in my own life, and I can tell you it holds true. And like I've said before, it takes practice. Our minds are not created to notice or even recognize what's going right. Our brains are wired to actually look for problems to solve. And Tony Robbins often says that we have a 2,000-year-old brain. Its only job is to keep us safe, which means our minds are always looking for potential problems or pitfalls or dangers. Our brains are literally always looking for a problem as a way to keep us out of harm's way. So, if this is how our brains are wired, then how easy do you think it is to shift to the positive? Yeah, not very. We literally have to train our brains to work differently. And that is no easy task. So, if our brains are geared toward the negative and half our lives can be viewed as negative, how in the holy hell are we supposed to be positive all the time? And also, can there be too much of a good thing? This is where this concept of toxic positivity comes from, that there are dangers to guiding people to be positive all the damn time, no matter what. And you've seen the t-shirts or the coffee mugs or the posters that say good vibes only. And don't get me wrong, I have my own good vibes playlist full of music to get me into a good mood. But if we only ever see the positive, we're actually limiting our full human experience. Believe it or not, we came here to actually feel it all, not just the good shit. While there is a benefit to obviously shifting your focus towards the positive and practicing gratitude, there is also something very beautiful in the moment when we can say to another person, I love you through all of your emotional states. This toxic positivity says that it can actually be harmful to our mental health to avoid negative emotions or to not allow others to have the space to have any emotion besides positive ones. By simply avoiding negative emotions, it can actually be harmful to us. And you've heard me talk previously about how our bodies talk to us. When we try to avoid our emotions, they get stuck in our bodies and the energy doesn't go anywhere just because you'd like to only ever be happy. It simply doesn't work that way. The idea isn't to stay positive always, but to train your brain to look for the positive. So feel the feelings, acknowledge the shit in life that doesn't feel good, but don't stay there. See, there's a balance to this whole thing, and that balance is different for everyone. There is a benefit to being grateful, but there's no benefit to avoiding being sad or hurt when life hands you lemons. You see the difference? Instead of saying, just be positive, it's more of this approach instead. I know it's difficult right now and things can easily go wrong. Let's think about what can go right. Or instead of saying, only think happy thoughts, it's a better, more holistic approach to say, it's all right if you aren't positive and happy right now. Feel your emotions and let it pass naturally. So, if we go back to this energy concept, all emotions are energy. And if we do this whole toxic, positive, fake it till you make it, always be smiling and happy thing, we're merely trying to bypass the yucky emotions, the ones that don't feel good. And like I said, we actually came here for all of it, the full emotional experience. Our souls actually opted in for the full range of emotions because that is the human experience. It's messy and beautiful. It's a roller coaster ride of a life, which means there are ups and downs. And while our real goal is to enjoy the ride overall, it doesn't mean the damn thing won't be scary or sad. In all honesty, sometimes this ride of life leaves us feeling like we might actually shit our pants. So, yes, we want to have more positive thoughts. We want our lives to overall end up being great. And yes, we absolutely have control over how that goes by choosing the things we focus on and how we direct our thoughts toward gratitude. We have the ability to create these amazing lives when we get out of our own way. But you know that phrase, shit happens? Yeah, it's commonplace because it's true. Bad things happen, crappy situations happen. So when it does, feel it, let it pass through you so the energy doesn't get stuck in your body and actually make you sick. Then shift your focus to what worked or what was the lesson learned. Choose the story that actually makes you feel better. That's how you train your brain to not only look for problems, but to focus on the positive. So one of my favorite ways to help train your brain is through gratitude journaling. Now, I was just talking to a friend of mine yesterday about how difficult this activity is when we're in those valleys, right? When we are in the lull of not so great shit happening and it feels like all we're looking at is, one crap scenario after another, and the act of gratitude journaling can be extremely difficult. But I talk about it often, and anytime I provide journal prompts in any of my courses or coaching, I use this to get people started. This framework. And that is this. First, 3 to 5 things that you are grateful for. List them out. Feel the appreciation you have for each one. So often, if I am writing things like how I first started gratitude journaling, uh, my coffee and my health and my kids, I am grateful for those things. I do appreciate them. But the things that I can truly feel the appreciation for is the purpose of that activity, right? So actually focusing on the things, not the things that you know are great in your life and that you should be appreciative of, but the ones that actually leave you feeling truly grateful. Those are the 3 to 5 things that you should be listing when you do this gratitude journaling framework. The next one is one thing that you are proud of. This shifts your focus to your accomplishments. What have you done? What have you gotten right? Proactively giving yourself credit for the things that you did well. And the last part of this framework is one thing that you are looking forward to. This helps to foster hope. It gives you an opportunity to look forward to something in the future. It builds this positive anticipation. It allows you to focus on something that gets you excited. All of these things are building this sense of appreciation and excitement and hope, all higher vibe feelings. So, in this framework, you can practice looking for the positive things to be grateful for because you're training your brain to do this thing that takes effort. Our 2,000-year-old brains are simply not wired that way. And if we know that it's not our default to be positive and to see the good, but we know that focusing on the good things brings more of it, isn't it worth the effort to put in the work to do it? I tend to say yes, which is why I tell you every single week to journal and meditate because, y'all, that shit takes practice, but it's so well worth the effort. And while I am giving you homework or suggesting what work you might choose to do, let me give you my number one tip for fostering positivity. It's actually a step before practicing gratitude, and that is this: be nice to yourself. Being able to focus on the positive actually is an inside job, and it starts with the way that we treat ourselves. This self speak, that gremlin that lives in your brain, you know the one, is he or she mostly nice to you or, like mine, perhaps, a raging asshole? Here's how you know. Would you talk to other people the way you talk to yourself? Imagine responding to a small child the way you internally speak to yourself when you make a mistake or when looking in the mirror. The very first thing I work on with my clients is shifting their self speak. This is the truest form of self care. It's not about the bubble baths or the shopping sprees or the trip to the spa, but it is about the way we treat ourselves verbally in our minds. And as long as I've mentioned bubble baths, let me tell you a story. Over the past few years, I have started taking more baths and not showers. I actually take the extra time to lay in a warm bubble bath filled with bath salts, essential oils, and when I'm really indulging, I will light some candles in the middle of the fucking day. At first, it was because I felt like this was an indulgence that didn't cost me a damn thing except my time. And then it was that I needed to soak my body in an Epsom salt bath because my muscles were sore. Now, that's back when I was actually working out on the regular. But over time, it actually became more of a habit. It became part of my regular, quote unquote, timeout to just soak and be still and take a beat to catch my breath. One day, I took my own advice and I got curious. I've incorporated this response into my day to day life when I'm working with other people. Oh, that's interesting. I wonder why. Say it again. Oh, that's interesting. I wonder why. For example, oh, you don't like to take a bath without bubbles? Why? Oh, that person made you mad? Why? Oh, that hurt your feelings? Interesting. What's that about? It's been a very, very helpful tool to approach things from a place of curiosity without judgment, and it allows you to uncover insecurities or wounds that are hiding beneath the surface. This is truly where growth and evolution comes from. Being able to honestly look in the mirror and see what our flaws are and what's holding us back, it's almost always just in our minds. So when I noticed that these baths of mine always included bubbles, I got curious. I asked myself, why do I always add bubbles? It took me a bit to pull back the layers, but when I recognized that I don't want to take a bath without bubbles so that I can cover my body, I started to get a little more curious. I don't actually have to see my body while I'm soaking in a bath. Oh, yes, the negative self speak. So I started to quite intentionally embrace the uncomfortableness of being able to see my own naked body under the water. You do realize that things underwater look larger than life, right? It always reminds me of the warning that we see on those mirrors in our car, and it says objects are closer than they appear. That's how I feel about seeing my body underwater. This new change to my previous indulgent routine actually forced me to see my body for what it is, flaws and all, and still find a way to be kind to myself. If I believe I'm deserving of a luxurious 30-minute bath in the middle of the day, why am I constantly berating my body for the way it looks? Interesting, right? It's not about just saying, let's enjoy this nice bath and only focus on how great it feels. But let's look at that full experience and choose a better story. And for me, it was learning to love my body in a way that goes beyond just giving life to four babies, which is a miracle in and of itself. But really, this body has given me the ability to step forward in life. It's giving me the ability to be strong, even in my vulnerable moments. So, learning to be truly grateful, recognize the shit that happens, but then choose to focus on the positive is the whole goal. So, good vibes only is this whole movement, and it has merit in the benefits of learning to look for the positive, but not at the expense of our bodies or by trying to bypass any of those yucky feelings. After all of that, I teach my clients to practice gratitude, but we can start that by fostering an environment of true self-love, by being nice to ourselves. Feel the truth of all of our emotions, obviously, and then shift towards the positive. It's all about balance, my friends. And with that, I hope you have a great week. Okay, listen. Are you struggling to find what your true purpose really is? You should try journaling. At the very least, it will get you to a better feeling place than where you are right now. I've created a set of journal prompts to get you on your way to discovering who you truly are and where you want to go from here. My free download is called Journal Yourself to Joy, and it's available at ShaunaLee.com under Free Stuff. These are my tried and true journal prompts that will raise your energy, increase your positivity, and brighten your day. Download yours today.